Welcome back to part 2 of this London travel vlog, where you join me at King's Cross Station.
So this is platform 9 3/4, made famous by Harry Potter. Lots of people queuing to have their photos taken. This is the queue, and it can take an hour or an hour and a half to queue to have your photo taken here. So you have to be a real Potter fan, I think, to be bothered to wait that long. There's even a Harry Potter shop as well. So this monument here marks the place where the Great Fire of London started on Pudding Lane, a fire that destroyed most of London. So this is Pudding Lane, and over here it says, near this site stood the shop belonging to Thomas Farnier, the King's baker, in which the Great Fire of September 1666 began. And if I just turn round, this is the monument that was designed by Sir Christopher Wren to commemorate the Great Fire. Sir Christopher Wren, who also designed St Paul's Cathedral and many other churches in London. So that's the Tower of St Magnus the Martyr and the monument to the Great Fire. And the old London Bridge used to be here where we're standing. So we're going now up to the Sky Garden, which is at the top of this building, which is, I think, locally known as the walkie-talkie because of its shape. So this is the Sky Garden. We're 35 stories high. And they're cleaning the windows. The highest garden in London. So it's definitely worth coming up here. Just be aware you need to book your tickets in advance. They are free, but you have to book if you want to come up here. So they were turning a few people away because they hadn't booked. So we've now travelled to Covent Garden, and again, lots of street performers around here. Always a lot going on here.
Thank you so much. Can I ask you guys to pull the gaps in? Thank you.
So around the base of Nelson's column you have 4 lions, and these lions were created from metal that was melted down from captured French cannons during the Napoleonic War. So just come to Buckingham Palace. So just explaining to Beata and Henrik and our friend Rita, who's over here from Barcelona, here we've just met today, that they used not to fly the Union Jack on Buckingham Palace. It only used to be the Royal Standard, and the Royal Standard would only ever be flown when the monarch was in residence. And that all changed when Princess Diana was killed, because there was a lot of criticism that the flag on Buckingham Palace wasn't flying at half-mast. Well, the Royal Standard never flies at half-mast, but as a result of public pressure, they started flying the Union Jack, and now, when the King is not in residence, you will have the Union Jack flying. So I know, looking at that flagpole, that the King is not in residence. If he was, it would be the Royal Standard. So the Queen apparently wasn't that particularly keen on Buckingham Palace as a residence, which is one of the reasons why she spent the remaining period of her life living at Windsor Castle, which she much preferred Windsor just being outside of London. I don't know where the King and Queen spend most of their time, whether it's here in Buckingham Palace or one of their other many homes. Westminster Abbey, where all the coronations of the monarchs take place. So this is day 3 in London, and we're heading to Parliament this morning, but I just thought I'd film this park, which is very close to where we're staying, Highbury Fields. It's just one of the many parks you've got here in London. Really attractive spaces. When we walked through here yesterday, there were loads of kids doing their park run, and it's a 10-15 minute walk from where we're staying to the Highbury and Islington tube stop. So just making our way into Parliament and passing the statue of Oliver Cromwell. So welcome to Westminster Hall, which is the oldest part of the Houses of Parliament, and this building was constructed in 1099, and the roof above me was constructed in 1399. So this is the oldest part of the Palace of Westminster, and this is where you come and gather for your tour of Parliament. So we just completed the tour of the Houses of Parliament. I wasn't able to film inside apart from that little snippet of Westminster Hall that I managed to get, but a really fascinating tour. The guide was a lady called Andrea, who was superb. The tour lasted about 75 minutes. You see Westminster Hall, St Stephen's Hall, the House of Lords, the House of Commons and the Division Lobby. Just a really fascinating tour. Highly recommended, and it's free. If you live in the UK, you can contact your local MP and get tickets to see the Houses of Parliament. So I really highly recommend it. One of the best things I've ever done here in London.
Here we are visiting Westminster Abbey. Since 1066, this has been the location of the coronations of 40 English and British monarchs, and a burial site for 18 English, Scottish and British monarchs. At least 16 royal weddings have taken place at the Abbey since 1100. Although the origins of the Abbey are obscure, an abbey housing Benedictine monks was on this site by the mid-10th century. The church got its first large building from the 1040s, commissioned by King Edward the Confessor, who is buried inside the abbey. Construction of the present church began in 1245 on the orders of Henry III. The monastery was dissolved in 1559, and the church was made a royal peculiar, a Church of England church accountable directly to the sovereign. The abbey, the Palace of Westminster and St Margaret's Church became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987 because of their historic and symbolic significance. The Abbey is the burial site of more than 3,300 people, many prominent in British history: monarchs, prime ministers, poet laureates, actors, musicians, scientists, military leaders, and the unknown warrior. Due to the fame of the figures buried here, artist William Morris described the Abbey as a national Valhalla.
So just leaving Parliament, we returned this afternoon to watch the debate in the House of Commons. So we went to the public viewing platform, and it's free to go into. You don't need to book tickets. Really worth doing, good experience. Highly recommended. So we're now in Westminster Underground, and we're just making our way to Camden Town. But yeah, if you want to go to the public viewing galleries, you just need to go through the main visitor entrance, explain that you want to go to the viewing galleries, the public galleries, which are open when Parliament is open, when the House of Commons are debating. And yeah, it's fairly straightforward. When we got there, we saw the Speaker of the House, Sir Lindsay Hall, marching into the debating chamber, and we were able to see Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, speaking on housing and so forth. So really interesting experience. So if you're in London and want to experience something different, then highly recommend going to the public viewing galleries and in the Parliament building. So we've decided to come somewhere a little bit different, and we've come to Camden Town, and what an amazing looking place it is. Never been here before. It's interesting, isn't it? A bit different to Carlisle. I really don't know very much about Camden, but I've seen lots of photos of this bridge with Camden Lock written on it. It's also got a reputation for street food and street markets, so we'll check some of that out as well. It's very good. Should we just walk up this way a bit and then...
We choose something.
But the thing is, all of these are like independent little stores, which is fantastic.
What do you think? Adam would love
You think?
Yeah.
Henrik, would you like me to... Would you like this instead?
In fact, it's already dried out.
Would you like that? Would you like for that for school? It looked very good on. No? No appreciation. She suggested I get that t-shirt. So just walking along Regent's Canal, noticing these very unusual looking flats. So far in our trip to London, we've used the bus, we've used the underground, now we're using the overground.